we're in with the final game right here, the 7th game in the Sci Nations Cup 2017. Winner brackets semi-final. The winner of this very match, will go through to the winner bracket final. The loser will drop down to the lower bracket where they face elimination. This is all on the line now for both of these teams as they're tied up at 3-3. A spectacular comeback so far from the Chinese team after Finland were up 3-0 and then China come back with 3 consecutive wins to tie the series back up. This is our final match. This one decides it all. And for the Finnish team, who are over on the west of the map, the Chinese team on the west of the map, we have 5CM in the blue playing as the Britons. We have Tim in the purple playing as the Huns. We have CL playing as the Goths in yellow. And last but not least, we have Jeffrey in the green playing as the Celts. On the east of the map, for the Finnish team, we do have Velis in the orange playing as the Brits. We've got Zuppy in the red playing as the Goths. In the grey, we have Pike playing as the Celts. And finally, in the teal, we have Max playing as the Huns. This map is Team Acropolis. Each team starts on their Acropolis. A raised, I guess, area of the map where they all sit atop it. The map has very little wood on the top of these, on the top of the Acropolis. They have regular starting resources, but very little wood. That means that teams are forced down into the center of the map where they can move away from the thin wood and get their villagers onto the thick wood, which is down the map away from the safety of their starting location. Some of this thick wood's at the back of the map, but most of it is towards the center. This map is kind of reminiscent of Seize the Hump, where players will be forced away from their starting town centers early on. And this could be very favorable for the Finnish team. They're a team that have shown that with a good sling strat, they can make it work. And this map feels like a map where the Finnish team could go for that sling strat. Now, they don't really have a solid slinging civ. They don't have Vikings, for example, with that really strong eco. But they could still make it work. This is team random, so both teams do have the same civilizations, and those civilizations are completely random. They get some pretty good civs here, though. They've got a good mix of civs. The Goths, of course, are going to be great for some early sort of Imperial or maybe even late Castle Age raiding with the Huskars. The Celts can do the same with their Woad Raiders, but the Celts have a bit more longevity since the Celts are the only Siege Onager civ and heavy siege civ in this lineup. The Britons going to be able to utilize their early Castle Age power spike to try and be nice and aggressive, take down their opponents with the extra range on those Briton archers. And then, of course, the Huns, which are just an all-around strong civ in the early, mid, and early late game. Super late game, the Huns fall off a bit due to the lack of siege. But I think like this team composition, these civs, are quite well-rounded. We've got a little pause now in the game. That's why it's frozen. The game will resume once one of the players unpauses it. But I feel like with this team composition, I think that the Finnish team will play very aggressively, like we saw in the Seize the Hump game. I think they'll get the Hun player to do some feudal scouts. We might see some feudal scouts from the sorry, I was just getting a bit distracted by this. We might see some feudal scouts from the Goth or the Celt player as well. It could be an option. But interesting, look at this. CL coming forward. A feature of this map, of course, is the Oasis in the center. And we will see both Max and CL coming forward to build a dock here. There are a lot of fish, so it's absolutely worth trying to grab these. But with Max going for the dock, I do question if he'll go for the scouts in this case. The dock's going to slow a scout rush down if he wants to go for that. We might see scouts from another player. We might even see a drush. But I don't know. The metagame's probably evolved a little bit from when we see this map played years ago. I remember the old meta would be that some teams would do a 4-man drush on this map just to try and prevent their opponents, pardon me, from walling. And already teams are going to start walling their Acropoli. Is that the plural of Acropolis? Is the plural of Acropolis Acropoli? I don't know. Maybe someone in the chat will know. Maybe it's Acropolopoces. Is it Acropolopoces? Or is it I can't say the word now. I can't do it. I give up. But yeah, you can see Zuppy starting to wall that across the front. You'll see the Chinese team doing the same. 5CM there. Yellow player CL starting to do that too. And the fish coming out for both of these guys. It's the Goth player going for the fish this time. And it's the Hun player going for the fish for the Finns. Acropolis is already plural, apparently. One team only has one Acropolis, so plural isn't needed. Or it might be needed. What if I'm talking about both teams at the same time? Acropolises. Acropolises or Acropolis? Acropolis. Yeah, I thought it might have been Acropolis. Acropoli, Acropolis. Whatever. Who knows? I'll look it up afterwards properly to find out. But right now, no point in speculating. It's just a bit of fun. But Valise, look at this. This is what I'm talking about. The Finns getting aggressive. Valise on the way up to the feudal age, bringing 2 villagers forward. And he is going to be looking for maybe, I mean, we'll see, but he's not got a barracks up yet. So I wonder if he's going to go for just drop the barracks on the front as well, or if he's going to try and get a tower up somewhere. I'll be interested to see if he does go for a tower. I don't know where he'd be able to put one down. There isn't an exposed wood line on the front because the Chinese team have safely walled or built their wood lines at the back. And the players who haven't gone to the back, the 5CM has walled it up. So he's going to be okay there. We can see that Pike is Xing this wood line out, saying that maybe Valise should come down there with his villagers to get a tower up on the wood line. We do have a bit of a pause in the game, though. Once again, we've got a couple of pauses here. I don't know why. The players maybe having some lag issues or something. Hopefully the game will resume in just a moment. I'll look over to the chat for now. Hello, Cerise. How's it going? Cerise made some of the new emotes, by the way. Mr. Chow says, do you remember that insane game on this map between the 2 Tyrant teams? One kept pushing up that. Yes, I do remember that, Mr. Chow. It was during the Tyrant Wars, I believe. And it was Tyrant A versus Tyrant B. It may have been a different tournament, but I do remember there was some amazing games on this map. Though I get the feeling like this, I've got a feeling this is going to be a quick game. I don't know. Hopefully I'm casters cursing it by saying that and we end up with a really long game. But either way, Valise is coming here. He's still not got a barracks. So building the barracks at home with 3 villagers to try and rush that up. Is he gonna? What's he doing on the front though? Is he just going to drop an archery range? What's the plan, Valise? Because right now this is idle time and it's building. The wall's coming up here. You see Max walling off the right side, meeting up with his teammate in the middle. Standard stuff. But there it is. The range coming down on the front. Now, I wonder if they might do a sling. It's always an option. But obviously we'll have to wait and see. Max is going up to feudal age quite late. As is CL. And I expect that both Max and CL will go for a sort of fast castle build here. Since they have got the fish on the water. Max has gone for 4 fish. As has CL. Neither player has scouted. Oh, no. Spoke too soon. Max has scouted CL. CL has also scouted Max. So we'll probably see some boats coming out. Galley immediately. But they will be able to fast castle. Or at least Max will. Look at CL's resources. 300 food, 200 gold. Max, on the other hand, is sitting on 700 food, 200 gold. Much more comfortable position to fast castle from. As Jeffrey here pushes out with some archers across the map. And Valise sits, doubles down on his forward with a second archery range. So, this is going to be... It's going to be a bit more intense now as the game starts to heat up. Pike. I like Pike's... Oh, no. Pike Nearly losing a villager here. He's trying to send a villager forward. Tim's going to intercept that. He's going to find the villager kill and take the fight against Pike's scouts. Pike's making a lot of scouts here to try and raid with. Looking for an opportunity. And I think, there you go. He was trying to build a watchtower on the wood line of 5 cm. But since his villager was intercepted there, he's not going to be successful in that venture. And he deletes the tower. But still, I mean, at the moment, both teams trading blows fairly evenly, I'd say. Tim's now pushing out with his scouts once again. 5 cm is here to try and kill a villager. It looks like he'll be saved by the scout of Zuppy, or Zuppy's scout will save his own villager even. And the Finnish team haven't yet walled this up. Tim's coming in with 5 scouts here. Uh-oh, big trouble. Max being the target for this one. He'll keep his villager alive, I believe, as she runs back to the TC. Max will take out a low scout, and the villager will hop in to safety. But those scouts there can be a little bit annoying now, as Zuppy walls his villager in for safety, making sure that those scouts don't take him out. But yeah, at this point, Max is going to lose the water. He didn't bother making any ships there. But Max is a lot closer to the castle age than CL. He was up a lot faster. He did have a lot more food surplus. Looks like he'll go straight into knights, whilst Velise is still feudal, actually. He's still feudal. He's still making archers over here. Or, well, we can see if he's making archers or not, but yeah, he's still queuing the occasional archer. But it looks like Velise lost a couple of vills, maybe, in his eco back here. I don't know where the... Yeah, there they are. Jeffrey coming in with the archers. And this is the problem now. This is the pain point when you're not walled up. Max coming in with a scout with +1 defense, though. Zuppy's got his scout here as well. Max is the bait. Trying to take down these archers. It looks like you won't be successful. Those archers look on course to take that scout down and be a little bit more of a nuisance. But Velise going to push out with his archers now as well. I'd say China's off to the better start. They've now got the lake in the middle to themselves. Jeffrey was a lot faster to bring his archers over than Velise. And Velise is not really going to be able to do much damage, I don't think. 5 cm's moving out, but he's going to spot them, and he might be able to take this fight. Obviously, Pike's got a couple of scouts here as well, but 5 cm's focusing on the archers of Velise, taking the hill bonus there. And now we'll focus the scouts when the archers back away. So Velise hasn't done any damage. The Chinese team is basically walled up. Oh, Velise, I'll say that a bit soon, is coming around this left side, but he's going to be headed off by Jeffrey. And China, off to a great start here. The kills going the way of the Chinese team. The villager counts going the way of the Chinese team. CL lost a few... No, he didn't lose a few vills, but he's down in villagers. Bear in mind, though, he does have the fish. That's really important. That's key for him. Those 4 fish are really going to prop his eco up at the moment. With only 27 vills, he's a little bit behind the rest of the players in this game. Max booming up, though. Pike's still feudal for now. Zuppy booming up as well. And I wonder if this is going to be a Zuppy sling here. Zuppy isn't on the way up to the... Oh, wait, no. Pike, sorry. I meant Pike. Pike isn't on the way up to the castle age yet. He does have a market. And I'm going to assume that Pike is going to sling. Yep, he is. He's slinging Max. So we are going to see one of those situations once again where it's a sling game from the Finns. Now, the last 2 games where they slung, it did work in their favor, and they did end up winning. And we'll keep an eye out if Jeffrey's going to sling as well, because Jeffrey is also still in the feudal age. So it might be a bit of sling on sling action, but Jeffrey's making a lot of archers, so I wouldn't assume that he is slinging in this one. We've not seen any military really from Pike after the initial scouts, whereas Jeffrey's continued committing to archers here. So I don't know if Jeffrey will sling or not. I'm assuming he'll go up to the castle age here. And we've got the Celt player, Pike, slinging Max. Now, Max is a great sling target. As the Huns, he's going to be able to start making double stable knights. He's going to be able to start pressuring quite hard. And none of his opponent's civs have camels. to defend with. So Knights here going to be a good unit choice, especially if he can get them out quickly as well. He's going to be able to get the Knights over there, disrupt 5CM's military production, and basically pressure him enough that 5CM can't get the critical mass of crossbows he needs to deal with Max's Knights in this one. So it is going to be that sling strat from the Finns. As I say, it has worked out a lot so far, but yeah, the Chinese team does have a little bit more military in this game as well. So one kind of, oh, hang on a minute, Valise is still feudal as well. Is Valise actually slinging Zuppy too? Or is Valise committing to more archers and just having a slow castle time? I'm wondering now. Yeah, Valise doesn't have a market, so Valise isn't sling here. He's going to go up to castle in a minute. I think that's fair. I mean, you don't want to... Your Britain player gets a real big power spike when they get to the castle age. You don't want to have them slinging. Celt player, in the castle age, they don't offer anywhere near as much as the other civs, right? I mean, Celts don't have bloodlines, so their knights aren't as good. Celts, although they have decent crossbows, the Britain crossbows are better. So why would you want the Brits to sling over the Celts? The Brits obviously have cheaper TCs, so they can get their eco going a lot easier as well. So, of all the civs here, it makes sense for the Celts to do the sling. Obviously, in the super late game, you kind of want your Celts in the picture, but if you're going for a sling strat, your goal is to end the game before it gets to the super late game anyway. And so, in that for that case, or for that reason, getting the Celts to sling is probably the better choice. Obviously, the Goths can still offer quite a lot in the Castle Age as well. Though, actually, we've not seen Zuppy doing a whole lot yet. Just booming. And I think that's fine. I think Zuppy booming on 4 TCs is fine. He's going to be way ahead in villagers. Look at this. He's got 67 vills compared to the 54 of CL, who's leading his team in villager count right now. So the Finns looking very good. China started off well, did a lot of damage, but the Finns looking very good. And I think that the sling might start catching up to them very soon. Max is... still pumping out the knights for now. Third stable coming up. Not only is he getting sling though, but he's got a lot of villagers and a lot of eco too. He's on 3 TCs. More food and gold coming in. More knights coming out. He'll be clicking up imp within a few minutes here. It's not quite as fast as the Golden Hill game, but the concept is still there. Where's Valise now? I mean, he had a lot of archers, but he took some bad fights. He's on the way up to the Castle Age quite late. Jeffrey beat Valise to the Castle Age by a long way. Jeffrey is going to be booming up a bit more soon, currently upgrading crossbow bodkin. And Max might be the target here, as both Tim and 5CM group up. Now, 5CM's got a lot of crossbows, so Max has got to be careful taking this fight. Got to make sure that he's fighting 5CM in the open and not near a tree line. That's going to be very painful if he goes for that. Up on the north side, Jeffrey's looping around, looking for some exposed economy. Might find some at Valise's side of the map. Right now, 5CM going for the wall break. He's going to go in. Now, Max has got a good eco, so he should be fine. I hear a lot of conversion sounds. Trying to get his knights in the picture here. This is going to be a hard fight to take. There's a lot of crossbows. He's got to be very careful. Max now doing forging, and he wants to get the surround. He wants to get all of his military units attacking at the same time. He will do it. He'll come up to the top of the hill, and now there's no escape for 5CM. So I think Max is going to win that fight there. 5CM isn't able to protect his crossbows very well. He's not preventing a surround from Max. And Max just has more than enough military here to clean this up. This is going to be a lot of dead crossbows for the Britain player on the Chinese team. Max throwing away a monk, though, a little bit unnecessarily, but all of those crossbows will go down. Max will come out on top, and look at that score. He is miles ahead of the pack at the moment. Defensive castles coming up now for the Chinese team. Getting that on the Goth player, of course, and Goth player on the Norwegian, Norwegian, come on. Norwegian, Netherlands, no, Finnish team. That's already up. Zuppy is going to be up to the Imperial Age in just a second. Pike now slinging Zuppy up to Imp. Pike splitting his resources between Max and Zuppy here to get them to the Imperial Age quickly. And this is going to be a full frontal assault at this rate. You're going to have Max with the Knights going into Cavalier. And you're going to have Zuppy with the Huskarls. Obviously doing as much as he can. Jeffrey in a good position with these crossbows here. That's going to hurt. Probably not as much as I thought, actually. I think Max will be alright, but still. The Chinese team putting a lot of pressure onto the Finns right now, as both Max and CL are going to be up to the Imperial Age at very close timing. CL is the Goth player here, and it looks like he's going with the forward barracks, looking to go for the Huskarl perhaps. Of course, if he does go Huskarl, he's going to be at risk of being overwhelmed by the Knights. And oh yeah, this is looking good actually. Zuppy's coming over with a mangonel to clean these units up, and finally they'll go down. Jeffrey making a mountain out of a molehill with that little army there. Doing a very good job. And I feel like at this stage of the game, although the Finns are looking good, although they've been, you know, getting good fights, the fights have never been on the other side of the map. The fights have always been on their side. And I feel like that's costing them a lot here. Will they be able to turn this around? Will they be able to push out when they get to the Imperial Age? Well, Max is going to find this. He's going to kill CL's Vills and deny the castle. And he's going to see the barracks as well. So important information there for this team. But yeah, let's have a look at CL. He should be going straight for pikes. Yes, he is. Going for Halberdier here as Max completes Cavalier. And obviously, Halbs, it's not the ideal unit. He doesn't want to have to go Halbs. He would rather go for the Huskarls and get raiding. But he has no choice. There's so many Knights on the map. Max is Imperial. He knows that Cavalier is on the way. And so he has to go Halbs. But Zuppy's already here with Huskarls. So the pikes are going to be countered by the Huskarls, and Max is just going to turn his attention elsewhere. At this stage of the game, Jeffrey's going Imperial as well. Jeffrey is the Celt player. And the Celts are going to be obviously switching into the Woad Raiders in this case. Right now, Siege for Jeffrey is not going to be super effective. Not against Cavalier and Huskarls. Don't underestimate Huskarls, you cheeky bugger. What are you talking about, Kigo? I'm not underestimating Huskarls at all. I'm saying that these Huskarls are going to clean up because they're against Halbs right now. Zuppy able to use the Huskarls, whereas CL has to make the Halbs, which is not ideal for him. Max trying to raid the eco a bit more, trying to find a hole, trying to find a way in, not having much success. As the Imperial Age comes in for Jeffrey now. Tim's also up to Imp. I mean, I still feel like the Chinese team is in a reasonable position. But it's still very, this game is a very potent game for the Finns, you know. They're in a position to do a lot of damage in the next few minutes, but the Chinese team is going to be up to Imp a lot faster. Overall, they're going to have more economy. And the question is, can they turn it around? Well, 5CM's going to take a big hit down on the south here, running villagers away. There's still potential here. That's what I mean to say for the Chinese team. As the Goth Flood comes in, the elite Huskarls from CL running through. +2 defense is on the way, so he's going to be fully upgraded now. Chinese team coming into raid. And Kangbo, yeah, I mean, I have been looking at the Finns a lot because they're the aggressors at the moment. Or they were, until, of course, CL starts raiding here, which is why we're watching this. But yeah, the... sorry, not the aggressors. A lot of the fighting has been on the Finnish side, but now they're the aggressors. We've got to watch where their armies are going. Like, this army here of Cavalier could do so much damage. But then again, so can these Huskarls. CL score leading his team by a landslide. Huskarls going in deep, but Max has finished Paladin now to get the defense up, and obviously Paladins able to outrun and outgun the Huskarls. And the counter rush is coming in now as well. The counter rush from Zuppy, trying to clean out these barracks from CL, stop him getting a forward location. And Velise putting up walls in the middle of the map. This is a beautiful move from Velise. These walls right here, going to prevent the flood of units coming in. That flood's now moved up to the north. The units in the base of Zuppy have been cleaned up. And Jeffrey now making pikes as the Celts. I don't know what else he's going for. I would assume he's going to go for Woad Raiders here, as the Goth players start to take over this game. Still, I see these teal units just kind of threatening this south side. That TC from 5CM is gone. He may well be in the Castle Age for a long time. And finally, Velise is on the way up to Imperial. But this is what I'm saying about the Chinese team still having a lot of potential. They still have 3 out of 4 players imp, while the Finnish team only have 2. Obviously, those 2 players from the Finns were slung, so they're going to be very beefy. But there's still potential to turn this around for the Chinese team. They just have to hold, and they have to inflict some eco damage in return, and they're going to do that. CL raiding up at Zuppy's base once again. And so far, Max hasn't actually broken through yet over at 5CM's side. He did obviously take down the exposed eco in the south, but if he takes down this range, he's going to be in. And I don't think 5CM's going to be able to react in time. There's 4 health on the range. Can he throw down a building before Max makes it through? Maybe. He might have a chance to spot it now that the game is paused, but I doubt it somehow. Obviously, the game will resume in just a moment. That Goth Zerg swarm, exactly, Ecstasy. They are taking over. But the thing is, both Goth players are sort of matching each other a bit. I can't see the military. Yeah, I can see it. Wow. The Goth players are matching each other, I say. Zuppy has 43 military and CL has 43. So both Goth players have exactly the same number of military units. They literally are matching each other pound for pound, piece for piece. But there you go. Max is in. And CM doesn't notice. So those paladins are going to go killing again. Oh, here I go killing again, they say, as they run in. Paladins from Max really doing a lot of damage here. But then again, as are the Huskarl from CL. Who's doing more damage? That's the question. Well, Max so far this game has 177 kills to 70 losses. No one on the Chinese team is even close to that. He is doing a lot of eco damage. But now that Tim is imp, Tim can start doing some paladins himself. He's got Cavalier out. He can look to turn this fight around. We've got two-handed swordsman coming out for CL now to try and counter the Huskarl of Zuppy. That Goth spam is real. And the Finnish team aren't fully walled yet, so there's still plenty of opportunities for the Chinese team to break through and start raiding. Max is chasing down these units as they run in, and those paladins are going to have a field day. In fact, Max is all over the place right now. He's everywhere. CM does clean this up with a, yeah, block that up with a house. But the raiding, oh, the raiding. Zuppy's in here with pikes and Huskarls as well. The population, though, it's still looking good for the Chinese team. The Chinese team still has more overall population at this stage of the game. Overall, they have got more. Average population, well, I mean, look at this. CL's at 110, Tim's at 130, Jeffrey's at 115, Max is at 101, Zuppy's at 105, Velise is at 19, Pike's at 94. So it's actually kind of close, I think. Actually, never mind. It's kind of close. I think the Chinese team might be just ahead, but oh, stream ended. Uh-oh, stream ended. I don't know what that means. I don't know if the game has crashed. Has Vubly crashed? Oh, no. It looks like we're coming back out of the game. All right, back into the game. All right, here we are, guys. Welcome back. And yeah, we're a few minutes behind, but it's no biggie. So as I was saying before, the Finnish team, if we look at the actual populations, I was looking at the village account before. The Finnish team is way ahead. of the Chinese team in population right now, and it looks like it's going to stay that way for a while as the raiding is fairly even on both sides. They're trading blows heavily here. Max has obviously been raiding around a lot in the south, doing a lot of damage to Tim over this area, and he's even coming in and collecting up the extra relics on the map. Teal is taking over this game right now, really doing a good job. CL, on the other hand, the score leader for the Chinese team, he is trying his best, but after his initial raids, he's just being shut down now. He's running headlong into Paladins, into Huskars from Zuppy, and at this point, things are getting pretty dicey for the Chinese team. They're losing a lot of ground, and Finland is starting to take over the map. Jeffrey, the Celt player, he's going into two-handed swordsman right now after starting out or opening with Halberdier, and obviously that is just not going to work out too well for him. Halberdier can counter the Paladins if the Paladins fight them, but Max's strategy so far has just been to run in, send the Paladins deep, and just raid. And that is working out very well in his favor. Finland looking very strong right now. The trade carts are bugged on the overlay for some reason, so I can't tell you how much trade there is for each team. But, well, I can tell you that Finland... Wait, it's not bugged. It's not bugged. No, I am reading this right. China have no trade. China's in trouble. Without trade, they are going to run out of gold very quickly here. Tim has 84 gold. 5CM has 100 gold. CL has 1,300, thankfully. But as the Goths, he doesn't burn through his gold quite as quickly as the other civs. But right now, Max has 20 trade. Pike has 18 trade. That trade is going to be kicking in very soon. And the effects will be felt very soon. So the Finnish team right here, getting that trade going nice and early, taking over the map. Max is grabbing gold down in the far south, uncontested. And Pike is now building this huge wall across the center of the map. Look at this. Meeting up here with Pike. Sorry, yeah, Pike's just meeting up with... Never mind. That's 5CM there. And they're just dividing the map in half. They're like, yes, give us as much map as you can possibly give us. And if they're able to wall down this south area, then China will not be able to trade across the south and west side of the map here. So this is absolutely huge for the Finnish team as they start pushing in together on this north side. Velis in here, along with Max and Zuppy. Huskars, Paladins, Arbalest. It's a really strong combination, but they are missing a little bit of siege. The siege, or the battering rams from Zuppy on standby, but no upgrades there. Really, they need to get the Hun player and the Celt player upgraded siege ram. But right now, the Celt player for the Finns is still in the Castle Age. Pike is only just advancing to Imperial now. 5CM, the blue player, the Britain player for the Chinese team, is still in the Castle Age, and he isn't upgrading yet. So even with Pike doing all that sling earlier on, he's still going to be up to the Imperial Age before 5CM. And of course, the China team, they might be on the back foot, but they absolutely do not want to give up this game. If they lose this game, they will be knocked down to the losers bracket, the lower bracket, and Finland will go on to the final in the upper bracket. So this is a pivotal game for China, and they've done so well to bring it back so far. They were 3-0 down, and it's 3-3 now. They've come a long way. Tim coming in with his Paladins here, but man, is this guy... Yeah, we're back, we're back. All right, apologies, guys. We're going to resume now. Hopefully you didn't miss too much. I was just saying Max is raiding, and what used to be a safe haven for Jeffrey's eco is now in shambles. He's really got very little eco here. Jeffrey down to 74 population, 5CM down to 69. The population counts for the Finnish team close to 200 all over the place. And we are going to see Finland on the warpath to victory right now. Max pushing through the middle with his Paladins. CL, of course, unable to rally the troops. Tim down to 41 military. At least he has a military. He's the only one in his team 5CM with 0 military right now. CL with 15. Jeffrey with 21. While the Finns have over 150 military units on the field. They're denying the trade from the Chinese team. The Chinese team cannot trade. They cannot get gold. Jeffrey's military idle up in the north while Max and Zuppy push through the center. And this has to be a win. They're trying to get the markets up, but where are they going to put the markets on the other side? They're going to be over here. And that's terrible. They're not going to have efficient trade at all, and they're starting trade way too late. It's 54 minutes of game time. 54 minutes, and they haven't started trade yet. This is domination from the Finnish team here. Felice bringing out the Trebs, taking out the military production. And the Chinese team, they don't want to admit defeat. They don't want to drop down to the lower bracket, but they will. Finland cruising in now to victory. I can hear it. What's that? Shh. It's the fat lady. She is starting to sing. As the momentum keeps on going into the Finnish team's favor. Tim now the only man that can, with 63 paladins on the field. He can put up a final stand, but he's up against 67 paladins from Max. 77 military from Zuppy, and the Chinese team are calling it right there. The end of the game, the end of the series. And Finland are going to take it 4-3. It was an incredibly tough match for the Chinese team. They came back from a 3-0 situation, tying it up after 3 wins in a row, threatening the reverse sweep. But Finland will take it in the end. Finland, with their aggressive playstyle here, with their sling strats, something which we didn't really see the Chinese team going for at all. The sling was never really there for the Chinese team at any point during this best of 7. And obviously, the Finnish team capitalizing on the sling, doing a great job of that. And ultimately, I think that's what won them a lot of their games. Great strats, but also great slinging. And even with the slinging being nerfed so hard, it goes to show that it is still a very powerful strategy. Even with the coinage being moved to the Castle Age, even with the tax being increased. So congratulations to Finland. They will make it through. Look at Max's KD there. That's nuts. Carrying that game upon his shoulders. Doth thou hoist, Max? Yes, I do, says Max. Finland going to get the win, and we're going to take a look at the bracket so you guys can see what that means for the event. Brackets there on your screen. It's a little small, I know, but should be clear. You can see that Finland A will go through to the upper bracket final. They will play against the winner of Brazil A versus Brazil B. China Frantic will drop down into the lower bracket to face the winner of China... Oh no, versus the winner of Argentina and Vietnam. And that will mean that Finland going to have to wait for the results of Brazil A and B next to see what happens. They will be facing a Brazilian team. Tomorrow, right here on this channel, I will be streaming Argentina A versus Vietnam A, and I will be streaming Brazil A versus Brazil B as well.